Hello, welcome anyone and everyone who is watching this loom. I'm Samyak, and it has been a while since I've created a loom. I miss creating these looms when I was back at Atlassian working, and I wanted to take that part of my PM job and bring it to my own company. I did record a few looms and had fun doing them, and realized that somewhere down the line I just forgot that a loom exists and that I need to share my viewpoints out in the loom video with anyone who's interested in hearing about them or people who want to work with me. But I think looms will come back into my workflow and I'll talk about them later. I just want to do this quick little thing that I think would be cool. So between the loom that I created, I think the quarterback, and now a lot has changed, including the name of the company. So what I'll do is I will just pop up in a new window here. I will do log and I'll do this. Hey, I'm meeting a friend after May of this year. Let's check if May was the time when I last recorded a loop. So this was 3 months ago. I'm not sure. Intro to Neza. Okay, a tiny rant and an intro to Neza. Let's pick up this one because this was created back on April. Okay, not even May, April. So I'm meeting a friend after April who wants to know what has been cooking with Masala Dew, Kava, Neza, and anything and everything that we've created so far. Could you go through the Obsidian Vault and pick up a summary of the major highlights and changes that have happened between April and now? So while that gets going, I want to keep this as our focus. This post by Jack, which is very timely though because I sort of organically stumbled upon his project that he's talking about here and wanted to try it out, wanted to take some time to try it out, and also just now noticed that on my Twitter timeline he has posted this X post called Why We Are Buzzing. Now that Jack is using X articles as a feature makes me hopeful about the feature because at the end of the day he is the original creator behind Twitter or X as we know it now, and and then he has posted a little write-up and he's building cool projects. One of them that I particularly like is Bitwarden. After X, Bitwarden is the project that I'm most excited about, and I think that there are a lot of interesting applications of the protocol and the various wrappers that will be built around it. So, the background agent is working. It will come up with a summary of what has changed, but let's focus on today's X article, which is Why We Are Buzzing. So I'll sort of read it and I will try to explain it in my own terms. I will keep it stupidly simple for someone who is looking into it. In my mind, my target audience is someone who does not know shit about technology or who does not keep pace with what's going on. By the way, Jack here is Jack Dorsey, who was the founder of Twitter. He took his company public, replaced himself with the new CEO Parag Agarwal, and you know what happened to him. He was taken down by Elon Musk when he acquired Twitter back in 23 or 24, and after that Jack has been on the sides quietly shipping, quietly contributing to open source projects and having fun with his company Block, which is also a big company by the way. It has products called Square, which is a payments gateway and payments hardware company, and there were other crypto projects that he was involved in. So there's a lot that has been cooking up in Jack's world. Today, however, we want to focus on Buzz, which is his new project, right? Where he starts off and says why we are buzzing. Yesterday we released Buzz, So it's very interesting because I found out the project yesterday itself. So makes me feel that I, for a change, am on the frontier, quote unquote, which is nice. Yesterday we released Buzz. It's an open source workspace that puts people, agents, conversations, and code on the same level behind one cryptographic identity stream. All right. We built it to reduce our dependency on Slack and GitHub, and we are sharing it so anyone can do the same. So how I interpret this, and I think I sort of got the gist when I looked at the screenshots of the product and I went through the README of the GitHub repo. Let me also pull that up while we're at it. So yeah, on the side we have this repo which says, okay, this is Buzz. So it kind of looks like Slack on the first look, and it also has you know, GitHub like or let's say you have Slack and you have coding agents within Slack, just like you use Claude Tag to tag Claude and ask it to do things. Buzz can sort of do the same, but I think it's more interoperable. It's open. It's a framework on which you can build your company's workflows, etc. So this is Buzz, and yeah, I mean, so far so good. There are 44 contributors to this project, most of whom I think are from Block, the company. Jack Dorsey also interestingly reduced the headcount on his company and told everyone that we are going towards a very flat organization structure. They are getting rid of middle managers, and there was a lot that went on. So I think this is his embodiment of what work looks like in 2026 and beyond for modern tech teams. And what modern tech teams do is then percolated to most of the organizations that we see, be it governments, be it tech consultant agencies, be it any other company who wants to get better. So tech in some sense is the pinnacle or the beachhead for efficiency, and whatever comes as a follow-up for that. Okay, so why we are buzzing? So they release Buzz. They think that it's a combination of Slack and GitHub in some ways, so they want to reduce the dependency of Slack and GitHub. There are a lot of companies which want to reduce their dependency on GitHub because to them GitHub feels dated. It feels like a relic of the past. It feels like a tool meant for people who are coding without agents. And agents, on the other hand, are much faster. They produce much more commits, much more throughput, much more code contributions through agents. And GitHub works for many people today, but it's being said that this is not the way in which code reviews, or should I say even the basic functionality of Git, which is code versioning, version control, that will not be the same after AI. So they want to reduce this dependency on Slack and GitHub. Fair. We're sharing it so anyone can do the same. The biggest problem it solves is context. Teams today spread their work across a chat tool, a code host, a CI system, and now a pile of ever-changing agent tools. Every seam loses information and agents feel it the most. They can't help with what they can't see. And I think it's true as also for someone like me who right now is sort of a solo builder. I run a single person company and have multiple projects running inside the company, so multiple experiments running. Today I have an interview with someone who I want to work with as in a contractual manner, but I see this definitely becoming a problem because context is spread across the board, right? Companies are not sharing context. What person A is doing is not getting shared properly with person B and agent C. Now we are living in an age where people and agents are in some ways part of the same team. Employees manage agents and agents do the work for you, and they all need context to run well and run better, right? Most of the quote unquote busy work that we see in organizations today comes off as a result of loss of context. We did not feel it back then, but we're strongly feeling it now because we want to get more efficient with AI tools, but we can't because we don't have enough on our agents. Our agents cannot answer the questions which are not documented. They cannot read our minds. So we want something that helps us solve for context, and this is what this project apparently is aiming to do. Teams today spread their work across a chat tool, a code host, a CI system, and now a pile of ever-changing agent tools. Every seam loses information, and agents feel it the most. They can't help with what they can't see. Okay, fair. We felt this earlier than most. Block is rebuilding itself to be an intelligence goose. Sorry, Goose, the agent substrate we built an open source at the start of 2025. Yeah, Goose is also an interesting project. It was one of the 3 open source projects which were put under the Linux Foundation. Goose was one of them. The other was the MCP protocol by Anthropic, and there was another one which I am forgetting at the moment. But yeah, Goose is an important part of that journey as well. Um, Goose is an agent substrate, so think of it like, I don't know, Olama. Basically, Goose is a CLI which sort of helps you run local models on your machine. Uh, and yeah, not the biggest project by any means in this fast changing world of AI tools and new technologies dropping in, but still a significant one by Block. Uh, but yeah, Goose agent substrate that we built on open source at the start of 2025 work across the company every day, and the deeper we go, the more the seams between the tools become the limit. Buzz solves a lot of these problems, solves a lot of the problems that we experienced. Buzz stores everything as a signed event on the relay. You host yourself. Okay. Okay. So let's break this down a bit. I think this is where this particular paragraph is, I think, where we'll start getting confused, and I will, for one, will also get confused. So let's get confused together and try to figure out what the hell does this mean. So. Okay, Goose aside, we know that this is a. Imagine this to be a local model running on your machine that helps you connect with the knowledge bases, with the file system on your device in a safe way, in a private, encrypted way, and allows you to access the power of AI agents without relying on a third party API. For example, using Claude Code to read through open your own files. Uh, that aside, let me read out this paragraph first and then we'll look into this step by step. So it stores everything as a signed event on the relay. You host yourself. Your relay is self-hosted. Every message, batch, review, workflow step, and approval. One record, one search. People and agents get the same. One thing that I want to point out, I just hate how people don't use capital letters anymore. I don't know what they're trying to be, but I don't like this way of writing. I mean, nothing bad to the writing as such, but the case just makes me hard. Like, I don't know whether there's a full stop here or there's a comma here, which also makes me wonder whether this is being done as a, you know, as a response to a time when people don't read full text anymore. They want to just glance past it. But as I'm reading it right now and as I'm orating it, I feel that it's so hard to read. So I hope we get back to normal title case sentences, sentence case sentences, if that's not very big of an ask. One record, one search. People and agents get the same kind of identity, their own keys, channels, and a model trail. An agent on Buzz is an equal member of the team. So what they're doing right now is, let me also, as we think about this, let me just open up a blank page and start sketching, because that would be cool. So we have people and we have agents. So see, no comms with small case as such, but if we use small case in the right place and capital case in the right place, that it will make things easy to read. That's my only concern. So yeah, there are a bunch of people here in an organization. People used to talk to a single agent or a single agent thread. which is not connected to your data sources in any way. Now we are living in the future where we have multiple agents working for multiple people. Right now, people had their own agents, but I don't think this one-on-one relationship will exist anymore. People will create agents, people will contribute to agents. So you can think of this as something like this, or maybe some 10x developer is building agents like this. Uh, but the thing is that people and agents will sort of coexist in groups, in chats, and actually that is the kind of that is the way of working that we have also come to uh, you know understand and uh, make peace with our upcoming project Saras, where I'm working with a bunch of agents as my employees, and other operations on my parent company, which is Karma Labs, is also seeing a similar pattern where we have agents and people working on the same plane and working across the same file sources, the same data sources. So this, for example, is an Obsidian Vault which has a bunch of nodes, right? It has a universe of nodes. Let me just give you a small gist of the same by going to the graph view. So this is the graph view. As you can see, there are like a bunch of artifacts, and I have contributed to these artifacts, and so have the agents. So me and my agent sort of work on the same artifact at many times in a day. Uh, my agent does not create new artifacts in of itself mostly, but we keep a record, and what I read is what my agent reads, and we make sure that we understand what's going on. So the agent is not left loose to build its own artifacts, but at the same time, it's also not restricted from contributing to the artifacts where it could be useful. Coming back, this is what the agent and the people template looks like, and I think this is what they are talking about, that agent and people live on the same plane and have the same shared context in some sense. They have the same kind of entity. They have their own keys, their own channels, and an audit trail. An audit trail is an important part because in the AI age, you need accountability, and accountability, we are looking at humans for accountability. Agents can run and do their own thing, but you need someone to grab you by the collar and say that, hey, this is what's wrong, and you need to tell me why your agent did this. You are managing this agent, so now the escalation has come to you. So that is what I see the role of humans playing out as accountability partners, as directors who are directing a bunch of agents to do tasks. And here they're putting them on an equal plane, and there's an audit trail that keeps track of what the agent has done or what the human has done. An agent on Buzz is an equal member of the team. It can search history, open repos, send patches, review code, run workflows, edit canvases. So this is what most agents as of today can do, right? Code reviews are now baked into Claude Code. Sending patches is something that people use Claude Code for anyway. Running workflows, editing canvases, everything is signed and attributable, which builds trust and accountability. So accountability is an important part here. In companies, you don't want your agents to run amok, and you don't want to burn tokens needlessly. I hate the token maxing trend, and I want us to dial back into the mode of efficiency and into an age where your money could be limited at a given point in time, and you need accountability to make progress in the right direction. A few principles we held: self-sovereign, run your own relay, own your domain and your data, carry your keys anywhere. So it's very much a crypto concept, or you can say it's very much a self-hosting concept. It's a relay. So think of this as a Nostr channel, or for that matter, a Discord server, or even something simpler, a WhatsApp group. Right? A WhatsApp group does not come with its own relays, but deep down in the WhatsApp infrastructure, you have something called relays. So let's talk a bit about relays for a second. So you have relays. So your relay is basically ledger or a working record of every conversation that happens in your organization. and there's a domain that is associated with this relay. So this domain could look, for example, for me, it could look like uh, what could be something like chat.karmalabs.com, and as I click, as I enter this URL on my browser, this just gets me to sign up to the relay, uh, which sends and receives messages on my behalf. Your data is also, hosted by you. So in some sense, I'm owning my data. It's Open Apache 2.0 built on Nostr. So it's built on Nostr, as I said earlier. So Nostr is this messaging protocol or a file transfer protocol essentially, which is open source, which is encrypted by default, which is just amazing as a piece of tech that is still waiting for good adoption, by the way. So if anyone of you is interested in building this, building on top of Nostr, do let me know, and maybe we can work something out, and maybe we can build a tutorial or an intro guide of how Nostr operates and what could be done with it. Model agnostic harnesses for Goose, Codex, and Cloud Code, no lock-in including to us. So yeah, no lock-ins. So he wants to advertise this as an open source project essentially, and there's no lock-in, and that Clock does not gain to benefit monetarily from this project. Maybe through adoption, but we don't know. One context: a feature branch becomes a channel, patches, CI results, review, and the merged decisions live in the same thread as the conversation that shaped them. Code review becomes a conversation with a permanent record. So this is an interesting concept, okay? We are increasingly talking to our computers in natural language. What is coming as snippets of code is something that is increasingly becoming optional for us to read. And in this future, we don't expect humans to touch code. In fact, we don't even assume that agents will be touching code at some point, because even Elon Musk said this, that coding agents will become proficient enough to write in binary terms. So binary, if for those who are uninitiated, maybe those who have missed their computer classes back in the day, we have something called binary. Then we have something called assembly. Actually, it should be the other way around. Let me put it this way. So we have binary, we have assembly, and then we have low-level language. Low-level languages, something like C, C minus C. C++ could also come in here. And then we have high-level languages, something like TS, something like Python. Then we have frameworks, something like Next.js, something like, I don't know, some combination of stacks. Fast CPS coming to my mind right now, so I'll just get it right. Okay, Next.js is like a good enough one example. And then you have on top of this your LLMs, coding agents. Right between this, there's such a layer of abstraction which we may call as LLM. I don't know. Let's leave it. This is a very simplified diagram of sorts of the different altitudes or the different abstractions of talking to computers. So you have your human right here, and you have your computer right here. When we started out working with computers, humans used punch cards to put instructions into computers which ran on binary systems. Think of the Charles Babbage analytical engine or difference engine, to even the ENIAC and the Unimax of the world, which is when we moved towards assembly, which had mnemonics very close to binary, but we had shorthands for these binary terms. So add would be written as ADD, but in some sense it would also depict a binary operation. You can sort of unfurl assembly and make it look like binary. We moved an abstraction, we moved up a layer and came to low level languages like C and C++, where we wrote a lot of the code that we see for our MS DOS games, for example, Doom and Roller Coaster Tycoon and whatnot. These languages were easily converted to assembly, so there was a very, like, not a lot of difference between low level and assembly, but they were still easier to program. uh, it was much easier to write more complicated logic. It was easy to produce graphic engines because now there was so much more that you could have done in a single line of code of C++ than, let's say, a single line of code in assembly. A single line of code assembly basically does not exist. You move a layer above and you come towards high level languages like TypeScript, Python, C Sharp. I don't know. There are many, and I may be getting a few details wrong here, so please forgive me. I'm not an engineer by profession. This is all I remember from my computer classes. High level languages allowed us to talk to computers in even more abstract terms, and programming computers with high level languages like Python was much simpler than using C++ for a general developer. And these languages gave way to frameworks. Frameworks were like these a bundle of computer architecture packaged as a single unit. So you can just spin off your website without writing a piece of code, or by using a template which was given to you already. So frameworks include Next.js. The Flask could be Django could be a proper framework, or a library, or a bunch of things that you use to. So for example, Django is majorly written in Python. Python will get converted to a low level compiler friendly language, then it will go towards assembly and binary. Frameworks allowed us to do that much faster. Frameworks in some sense were templates that you can just use and modify, right? And then we had coding agents which could just operate on top of these frameworks. They could spin up these frameworks on their own. They could understand human instructions for the first time ever, and be able to convert specs to actual written code, and this actual written code would then be interpreted by machines as they are right now. So we move a layer above, and what this is telling me is that this right here is nothing but instruction given to computers, and what we give to our colleagues are also instructions. We don't give them instructions in computer language, but we do give them instructions in maybe shorthands, maybe sometimes, and mostly in text. So in some sense they are saying that code and the written word are one and the same on bus. In a way, okay. Don't take this too hard. I may be wrong here, but code and the written word are interpreted as the same concept, right? So a piece of code or a prompt to an agent is being seen as a DM to an employee. Like it's being seen as being one and the same. Right? It's early. Channels, threads, GM, canvases, this, and the desktop app work today. Full gate hosting is being wired up. Mobile push are coming. Approval gates are partially built. Each workspace runs through a single relay, so federation between relays is the clear path to full decentralization our design points to. And Jack has been very pro decentralization from day one, and that's what we want to be taking away from this post, that Jack loves decentralization. The bigger work is ahead, tighter scoping for agents so that they cooperate in workspace where some things stay private. So yeah, how do you make sure that there is some amount of information that stays outside of the hands of most people in a company? What is like top secret information versus what is easy okay to share, what is okay to be leaked and what is not okay to be leaked. A hosted option for teams that don't want to run infrastructure. I think this is where they want to sort of make this a paid option. So what we have seen with a lot of open source projects these days is that you have open source core, which is free, and you also have something called like a hosted option. So if you self-host this open source code, this is free. Self-hosting is free and hosted option is paid. So companies make money out of the hosted option because self-hosting, let's be honest, is cumbersome. A lot of things can break while you're self-hosting. So if you have someone working on your self-hosting solution full time, it makes sense for you to self-host. But if you want to just get going quickly without really thinking about what to do and what not to do, you can use a hosted option that will make you pay some bucks, but it will not be that expensive of a deal in the grand scheme of things. Token efficiency, we have done a lot of work here on ecosystem workflows and agents with open spec. Agents that can transact feels like a natural place for us to take us next. This is interesting. Agents that can transact. So imagine this. Think of the agent as an external employee. For example, I'm working for organization A. Right, this is some organization A. And there is today I'm building something in the edtech space because I am now. Option B is Norm B is a design agency who I'm taking help from as I build my edtech product. I may need the design agency in some parts and functions of the company. This design agency may or may not know about my exact requirements. I don't want to pay them for the entire duration. I want to pay them for the artifacts that they help me produce. I want to pay them for the skills that they have sketched up. I want to pay them for the proprietary information that they have processed based on their understanding of my workflows and my industry. I want to pay them for the research that they have done for me, and so on and so forth. Between the design agency and the edtech firm that I'm running, there is an agent, let's call it AG, who offers you services at the exchange of money. So AG comes here and gets there and says, but hey, I will offer you this particular skill, or I will offer you the access for this agent if you have X tokens in your wallet. And this is where it gets interesting, right? Agentic payments is I think the reason why crypto will become a reality. So in goes tokens and out comes information in that sense. So this design agency is hosting its own let's say agent instance, which is a highly modified version of their own thing based on their knowledge base and whatever, and they've not hosted it anywhere else but their own thing, and they have created this agent interface or this agent gateway that allows them to exchange information for stable coins or tokens that they can have. agents that can transact feels like a natural place for us to take it next. So that is what it means. We believe Buzz is truly social AI. The category so far has meant people chatting with AI companions, AI feeling human feel chats, or agents talking to each other, where people watch people and agents as equal members of the same network. Doing work together feel like the first interesting and durable version. Yeah, it's the first version and it will be scrappy. This may not even pick up in mainstream media, but it's definitely an interesting project to think about. We're going to run more and more off block on Buzz. So they're committing that their company block will run on this particular thing. So they'll, in some sense, try to replace their GitHub workflows and their Slack workflows with Buzz. That's the first step we care about. The second is whether it's useful to you. It's all open, come build with us. So, in a nutshell, they have built a tool for their own company and they think that that is the future of work. And they've open sourced it so that people can actively contribute to it and adopt it in their own companies, which is, in some sense, a win-win in my mind. You're using a tool that others are helping you improve, and others are also using it to improve their own workflows. So yeah, that's the entire deal with open source software and everything that's going on. People and things come together. Okay. Cool. This looks pretty cool. I think there's a lot to learn uh, for companies of all shapes and forms from how the best tech companies operate. Even the tech companies who have dated processes need to relearn how to ship faster, talk less, and be more efficient as a company, because each of these companies have a vision and you need the fastest part to get to that vision, and that's the future, and AI sort of superpowers it in some ways. And yeah, so what we learn in tech circles should percolate down to uh, your day-to-day usage of agents, and that's the entire deal with Karma Labs. You want to bring these uh, tech workflows, these concepts that are both new and old, into the world of tech, or sorry, outside of the world of tech into the real world where people work. Think import export shops, think, I don't know, fashion agencies, think watchmakers, think financial services firms. We want each one of them to operate at the same level of efficiency as tech, so that we can build a better future for us all and we can get there much faster. So yeah, that's the entire deal, and with that I'll wrap up this video. This was an interesting project to break down, and I think I'll be making more of these breakdowns. Friday seems like a good time to do this, but yeah, if you found this interesting, let me know and do share your feedback. And yeah, here's more to come from me. Take care. Bye bye.